You. Was good, was good, was good. Sorry about the delay. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. I'll let a couple people get in real quick. Give it a little bit more time. We still waiting, still waiting. My apologies for running a little late. Make sure you spread the word, spread the word. Do this for another couple minutes. I know because I ran late. A couple people said fuck KG. I don't got a ton of time. I know I was running a little late, but I just want to make sure we get as many people in here as possible because I ain't gonna repeat myself with this shit. So I'd rather just give it a couple minutes. I know there's only a couple people in here right now. For the two that's in here right now, appreciate y'all for stopping through. I don't know if you checked your stocks yet, but today's a pretty decent day in the market. S&P 500 is doing pretty well. I don't know about you guys, but my stock's up like 1% today. What up, what up, what up? There is no donate button just yet, Dot. I will say if you guys want to donate, building back. I don't know if that shit is, I think that shit backwards in the motherfucker. But $ building back. I'll get all that other shit figured out right now, man. Right now, I'm just looking at if somebody wants to donate to the nonprofit. The nonprofit website is bbtcfoundation.com. I really don't even want shit for this. I'm just tired of answering individual questions. I figure I just knock it all out in one swoop. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes. It's only a couple people in here. I kind of expected that because I was running late. I'm still trying to figure out how this whole YouTube live shit work. But when we gonna make it do what it do. In reality, I kind of expected it to not be a huge audience. You know, kind of like why set up this new YouTube page as opposed to using my old one when I was a battle rapper. I'm not really looking for piggybacking off my name. I'm really focusing more on building organically. So, you know, the only people I really want following this and checking this out is really the only people who have a real passion for getting to this bag. So we'll give it like 2 or 3 more minutes. We'll give it like 2 or 3 minutes. Dad, I appreciate you. But yeah, once again, if you guys want to donate to my nonprofit organization. You can cash app it by going to $ building back. 100% of the proceeds is going to go towards our Christmas charity drive that we doing this upcoming year. We're gonna have 5 different families that we're gonna be giving to. I'll be releasing the families within the next week or so. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. Like I said, I'm not really pressed on getting 100, 200 people in here because I know realistically we're not even gonna be that. I know I kind of did this shit out the blue, so a lot of people didn't even know I was doing this. So a lot of people who would normally follow this um, probably aren't. Just make sure that you guys are subscribing to the channel. Make sure you share it because, like I said, I'm no longer ever going to give stock advice on social media. If it's not on here, it's not happening. So, and for the people wondering why I'm not doing caffeine got to cut a check. And obviously, with these numbers, we're not going to see a check no time soon. But once again, it's about doing it organically. I'd rather do it that way because, quite honestly, I don't need money from y'all. So let's get into it, man. I don't want to take too much of y'all time. So there's a few stocks that I wanted to speak to y'all about. So the people who are in here right now, I appreciate y'all being here. Once again, make sure you share this for the people who may want to get on this stock shit. Like I said, I'm not repeating myself on any social media platforms. You will only get this through me these days. I'm be doing this every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's always important to kind of just let the market play out on Monday, and Friday normally is a dead day. So I felt like the middle of the week was the times that we need to focus on. So there's a couple stocks that came in that are going to be popping up this upcoming week. I know a lot of people have been familiar with DoorDash for quite some time. Um, at this point in time, they're actually the number one delivery service. And finally, they decided to go public. They actually filed yesterday, which means that they're going to be available to trade tomorrow. So if you look on most stock apps, you'll see that on there. I know a lot of times people thought that it was supposed to be going live today, but in reality, it's going to be tomorrow. So just make sure that you guys be aware that the other stock that's going to be available this week is Airbnb. And I want to take a couple minutes to kind of go over both stocks and why each one could be a benefit. First off, let's go over DoorDash. So DoorDash originally was projected to be about a $70 to $75 stock price. Over the last couple of days, they actually pushed for it to go to $90 to $95. Only just now researching the thing about Macy's. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second about what a good starter stock is. So in terms of DoorDash, once again, it's the number one delivery stock. Delivery stock for food. Period. So being that we have COVID coming up here in a quick second, the lockdowns from COVID that's going to be coming up here in a quick second. This is a good stock to get into really, really immediately, like as soon as the stock actually pops. Now, the reason why I say get into it immediately is because this stock may not last long term. I actually just read an article earlier today about DoorDash and how they charge more than any other delivery service. And restaurants are getting sick of that shit. Restaurants, they hate the fact that they have to pay these guys, but because of COVID, you kind of have no choice unless you have your own built-in delivery service, which most restaurants don't. So at this point in time, they have to bite the bullet. They have to go through, DoorDash. But once COVID clears up, DoorDash is going to be one of the first things that these restaurants get rid of because they have the highest commission rate. They charge about up to 30% for delivery fees for restaurants, and restaurants don't want to pay that 30% when they can barely even fit 50% capacity in their restaurant. Plus, on top of that, there's some up and coming delivery websites or apps that you'll be able to tap into that will be cheaper for the restaurants. They're not public yet, but they are up and coming. One in particular is Slice. It's specifically for pizza, but I think they charge like a flat rate across the board as opposed to 30%, which can really add up if you're talking about $100 or $200 order. So the first thing is, if you guys are going to get into DoorDash, get into it as soon as the stock drops. Because people are going to just naturally be excited about DoorDash just due to the fact that they do understand that delivering food and this pandemic that we in kind of go hand in hand. So it's really the perfect stock to get into right now. I expect this stock to shoot up. Like I expect to, as soon as this shit drop, I expect that shit to shoot right up, maybe towards a dollar 120, 130. I don't want to get specific, but the stock will shoot up. So just make sure that if you guys are looking into DoorDash, don't be one of those guys that's scared to get in the water. I would say give it maybe an hour to see what it does when it first drops. And if it looks like it's going up a little bit, get into it because it's probably not going to stop. A lot of new stocks do that where they go up fast as soon as they come in and then eventually they'll come down. And according to experts, that's what's going to happen with DoorDash. It's going to shoot up because of pandemic, but once restaurants are able to fully open back up, that's going to be one of the first businesses that they're going to want to get rid of because of the fact that most of these restaurants hate dealing with DoorDash because they charge so much. So DoorDash, once again, that stock is projected to be between $90 and $95. Obviously, they raise the price because they understand the demand is going to be high. So I would recommend tapping into that. If you got a couple extra $100, you should see a profit pretty soon. If you see a profit, there's no real idea of when that profit's going to go down or what the peak profit is. I would just say don't be greedy and pay attention. Once the shit starts shooting down, it's probably going to start staying shooting down to its original price. So just one of those stocks that you want to get into and get out once you start seeing writings on the wall. The next stock, Airbnb. There is no set date on when this stock is going to be available, but it should be available this week. Now, this is kind of like the total opposite of DoorDash in a sense to where really this stock was not supposed to even be available this year. It was actually supposed to drop like 2 or 3 years ago. For whatever reason, it just didn't decide. They just decided not to go public. Really, it wasn't a stock that a lot of people felt like should have went public at this point in time, just because of the pandemic. Nobody is really looking to fuck with, Airbnb at this point. Um, thought these could have dropped today. DoorDash has they submitted their information in the stock market today. They'll be available to buy shares tomorrow, Hunter, just so you know. So in terms of Airbnb, the opposite effect could happen with this stock. And I think it's super important that as a stock that you guys are paying attention to the fact that this stock might actually drop when it first comes in. It's projected to be around $50, 40 to $50. It's a high likelihood that this either drops a little bit or it stays stagnant, simply because a lot of people aren't looking to, once again, Airbnb it at this point in time. So it is important that you guys are on top of the fact that this is one of the stocks that you will want to get on that might possibly really boom once this shit is over. Kind of like how airlines have boomed, how things that are just related to looking shitty right now because of COVID and possibly doing good, once things go good. Airbnb falls into the same category as the airlines, the cruises, the hotels, the casinos. It's all the same shit. It's about travel. So, that's one of those stocks that if you get on it, I would say give it maybe a day or so. Just see what it does. If it goes up, obviously get on it before it starts going up. It might just shoot up initially that first day just because people are excited about stocks, but it is a high likelihood that it might go down a little bit. So just keep an eye on that. Don't be in such a rush to hop on that stock because it is one of those stocks like airlines that you can get onto long term and it's going to end up paying you big time. In terms of stocks that out of the two, long term Airbnb just has the bigger ability to be huge. Pause. So, I mean, at the end of the day, just, keep an eye out for that. Those are the two stocks that are dropping this week. I did want to briefly get into Tesla. If you follow my Twitter or if you follow any of my social media, I didn't spoke on Tesla before the stock split. If you do not have Tesla stocks, you need to invest in Tesla today. You don't have to invest everything in that shit. Like, you don't have to put all your money into Tesla, but you need to put money into Tesla. Things that's important about Tesla to know. Tesla isn't a car company. They're not a car company. People think that Tesla is a car company. Tesla is a tech company. They're just a tech company that happens to create vehicles. They got shit like SpaceX where they're working with the government, getting government grants. They got a lot of things going on from a technological standpoint that quite honestly is way more than these fucking cars that people are so stuck on. I just read an article last night. The article came out at like midnight. And it's important to know that according to a lot of the experts, Tesla is expected it's at $600. What is it at right now? Let's check real quick. I just want to make sure I'm giving y'all correct information. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. The blog, I mean the podcast that I do is so dated. I have to kind of keep y'all up to date on this shit real time. So Tesla has actually gone up $2 today. It's at 640 right now. Shit, a week ago, yeah, 639. Good look, Kendall. So a week ago it was $100 cheaper. Like damn near a week ago. A week ago it was at it went up $83 just in the last week. It's important you guys know that it's projected. What up, though? It is projected that in the next 2 years, by 2023, the stock is supposed to be at 2,500. So do the math. It's at 640 right now. In 3 years, the shit's gonna be at 2,500. I mean, we're talking about a 4 times return on investment within the next 3 years. So even if you can't buy a whole stock, make sure that you're at least getting a piece of this shit to make sure that you get in the benefits of a 4 times return on investment. So even if you only got 200-300 and you want to get a piece of the stock, do that shit so you can make sure you maximize the opportunities that's in Tesla. So yeah, do what you will with that. The next one and last one I want to tap into before I get out of here and go over the stock of the day is Apple. Apple's been sitting pretty still over the last, I want to say maybe basically since the stock split. It's around like 123, 124, but this is the perfect opportunity to get on this stock. It's a reason why these motherfuckers keep doing stock splits. They keep doing stock splits because they want to make this shit accessible for everybody. But it's important to know for the people who don't know about stock splits, if Apple never did their first stock split, if they never did a stock split, period, right now their stock would be at 28,000. Like that's what Apple's real stock should be right now. But they keep doing the splits because that number can scare people off. But at the end of the day, yeah, they just dropped headphones today. Alex, you missed the DoorDash conversation, man. I'll briefly go over it here in a second. But yeah, in terms of Apple, you need to get on that. There's a couple different reasons why you need to get on it. First off, in terms of phone companies, they're the most prepared for 5G. So once 5G actually really, really kicks off, they're going to be the ones that are most prepared for it. Kendall, you are right. They did have the headphones that dropped, but really more important than the headphones is the fact that they created their own chip. Like they no longer have to go through Intel to create their processing chip. Now that they actually create their own chip, they literally create everything except the cameras that they get from Android, but that shit don't fucking matter. In terms of like the processing chip that makes these things function, like they've created it themselves. There's now an Apple chip. And I just read an article the other day saying that they're looking to create a better one to make sure they're maxing out with the top of the line computer companies globally. So because of that, the stocks are just stagnant right now. It's going up a couple dollars, but at the end of the day, it's important to make sure that once this 5G shit really kicks in across the country, once we get this COVID, once COVID starts kicking in, like not COVID, the lockdowns, because we're going to get locked down again if y'all don't know. But once that lockdown kicks in, then Apple's going to boom. Like it's going to boom. Like it's going to boom. Like it's probably going to be around $300-400 a share at some point in time. Really, really soon too. Like within the next year or two. So I would definitely recommend getting on that too. If you're new to stocks, look at Apple. For a company that big, $1 trillion company, to get in some shit that only costs $120 a share, I would definitely recommend doing that. Alex, briefly, just to kind of reiterate the DoorDash part. If you're going to get in DoorDash, get into it early, because obviously pandemic means that people need to DoorDash, but don't be so stuck on it, because at the end of the day, restaurants don't like DoorDash. They have the biggest commission rate out of all the different delivery companies. So at the end of the day, these motherfuckers don't want to pay 30%, to actually keep having these guys middleman dropping shit off. So as the pandemic clears up, as these vaccines start getting pumped in these goats, in these sheep rather, then once that happens, then restaurants are going to get away from DoorDash as soon as possible. So invest into it quick, but make sure that you keep an eye on it, because once it goes down, it's probably going to stay in that median cost. It's not going to be that much need of it once things fully clear up. So that's pretty much it, y'all. I don't ever want to take no more than 20, 30 minutes of y'all time. I do want to briefly go over the stock of the day, stock tip of the day. Fubo TV. Anybody familiar with Fubo TV? If you are not, Gilbert Arenas got a good podcast on there. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas. But Fubo TV, they're a streaming service that focuses primarily on sports. Obviously cable is a dub. It's not really something that we're really looking into. If you paying $200 for cable, then you losing. So Fubo TV is a good alternative for the sports heads. It's got over 120 different regional sports channels. They're trying to tap in with NFL, NBA. It's a brand new thing. It's only been public for a few months, but it's already tripled up. It's already almost tripled up in terms of return on investment. And from the looks of it, with the moves that they're making, because they're both subscription based and they get advertising from companies, it looks like it's something that's going to be here to stay for a while. So I would definitely look into Fubo TV. That is something that I would definitely recommend. So I'm gonna take a couple more minutes and answer the questions. What would you recommend social media platforms? I don't invest in them. Um, I feel like I'm invested enough, to be honest with you. I just feel like that there's more tangible things that you can invest to that's going to give you a bigger return on investment, Alex. Um, Quite honestly, if you want to, I can't see how a company like Facebook is going to lose anytime soon. But to me, investing in some of those platforms like a Facebook is almost like investing into a S&P for technology, because essentially that's what they are. At least with a index or a EFT, you can invest into a bunch of technology companies. There's specific EFTs for technology that has shit like Apple, Facebook, and Tesla all in one, stock. You won't own whole shares, but at least you can have something to where um, something that won't lose. Kendall, not SMP, SN, N as in Nancy, P, SNP 500. Essentially, and this is going to be on my next podcast that I'm actually going to be dropping tomorrow. Um, uh, EFT. We'll briefly get into that. EFT is exchange traded funds. Essentially, what it is all right. So let's just say the NBA. Let's just say the NBA is full of different stocks. Let's say the Detroit Pistons is a stock. Obviously, if we're talking about Detroit Pistons being a stock, it's a shitty stock. So let's talk about a good stock. Let's say the Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers is a good stock. But if you're from LA, you might only invest in LA Lakers because you only know LA. You may not invest into the Detroit Pistons because you don't know shit about the Detroit Pistons. But you do know that the NBA is getting to the bag. So basically what an EFT is, instead of going towards one particular stock, instead you're going towards the whole market of those same stocks. So instead of investing in just Detroit Pistons, you're actually investing into the NBA, because we know, even though there's a couple bullshit stocks within the NBA as a whole gonna always win. So I mean, that's really a good analogy, and you can actually do stocks. S&P 500 is the top 500 stocks, like Apple, Disney, Tesla will be a part of it pretty soon. Hearing we're going to go back on lockdown, sell stocks right before we do it and wait till prices drop and cop again. Yes, I do agree with that, Robert. You definitely should consider that. One stock in particular that I would definitely consider would be more than likely. What is it? Let me just make sure I pull it up, because I actually have this stock and I recommended some of you guys to get this stock. I just got rid of it. I sold it yesterday. So Travelocity. Oh, TripAdvisor. All right, TripAdvisor. Yep, that's the stock. TripAdvisor is one of those stocks that you're referring to, Robert. TripAdvisor was a stock that I originally recommended back when the stock was at like $6 a pop, $15 a pop. A good way to kind of gauge if you should sell a stock that has already gone up. Check what the 52-week high is. So in a sense, like let's just say, for instance, like TripAdvisor, their 52-week high was $31. Right now, it's at 29. Because of the fact that we got these upcoming stocks coming in, and you do want to kind of have some wiggle room to kind of add on to some of those stocks. It makes sense to kind of take your profit from a stock like TripAdvisor, which right now is at 29.40. I sold it at 30 because of the fact that its 52-week high is at 31. You don't want to just have stocks that are just sitting there. It needs to have some type of potential to grow, unless it's a huge stock. So in a case like how Robert is saying, there's a lot of stocks that you can get into that if you made a huge profit. MGM Grand is another one. I don't know about y'all, but I doubled up off of MGM Grand. At this point in time, MGM Grand is at a stagnant space, and it's going to go down because of these lockdowns. That's a perfect example. If you got into MGM Grand a couple months ago, like when I recommended it, sell that shit now. Sell it now and get into something else, because it's not going to get too much higher than it is right now because of the COVID situation. So if you invested into it when I told y'all niggas to, it should be damn near to double up now. So, these are the type of stocks that you want to keep in mind. The best way, once again, to get a gauge on if it has still earning potential is, quite honestly, just checking the 52-week high. If now there's certain stocks that are not even halfway where they should be, like some of these airline stocks. Personally, I'm not getting rid of my airline stocks. I'm not selling and getting back in, because the unpredictability, it may never drop back down, and I don't want to rebuy at that same price. But it's different for everybody. Just check the 52-week high, because one stock I'm speaking about is in particular is United Airlines. United Airlines 52-week high was $96. Right now it's at like $49, $50. So I ain't selling that stock, because personally I know it's still got a little bit more of a double up left into it. But those are the things that you got to think about when you're getting into this realm. So any other questions? I'm gonna wrap this shit up pretty soon. Once again, if you guys want to donate, I'm gonna put like the donate button, all that $ building back. 100% of whatever you guys do is gonna go towards our Christmas drive. I don't really want y'all money. I just don't want to keep responding to inbox messages. Once again, I'm going to be doing this Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about the DoorDash shit. See how that's looking to start. I'll also try to find you guys another stock of the day. I won't always do stock of the day, because I don't want to just say shit just to say it. I want to make sure that the stock makes sense for everybody. You ever invested in crypto or crypto companies? I do Bitcoin. I don't get too much into anything else. That's just me. There are people who are really, really into crypto. One of my podcast guests in a couple of weeks, he actually is like a master of crypto. So just make sure y'all tap into that interview, because I'm going to be learning right with y'all. So, and I think that's what's important about my podcast. Once again, the new one's going to be dropping tomorrow. We have a lot of shit in there talking about dog breeding, specifically like Cane Corsos, like different ways to market, digital advertising. A lot of that is going to be in my podcast tomorrow. So make sure y'all tap in for that. Any other questions? Looks like we're good for today. All right, man. Well, a lot of interaction. I appreciate y'all. I'm only doing this for y'all. Like I said, I ain't benefiting shit from this at this point in time. But yeah, we're going to build this up, and, we're going to keep rolling. So don't message me. Don't text me. Saying let's just tap in tomorrow, same time. I'm happy to answer any questions. Believe me, to my goddamn family. You see my big ass son that was just in the background. So salute to y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.